What's going on, people? This is Kish. I want to say Kish Yardy Gaming Network. Sorry, I haven't changed that down there, right? Typically I stream on my main channel, but I also stream. I play video games, so I drop videos here too when it comes to content centered around gaming. Now, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Watch the full video. Get a full value out the content and the value out of your time, right? A value from your time. Now, I got to put some industry standards when it comes to gaming. And really and truly, I'm disgusted with Battlefield 6. Right? There's moments where there's moments where it's, well, I want to say digestible, but I'm disgusted. And let me tell you why I'm disgusted. I'm a Battlefield OG. I've been playing Battlefield since Bad Company 1. And the reason why I played Battlefield is because it was something different from Call of Duty at the time. And I ain't gonna lie, Call of Duty dominated the FPS. It was between Call of Duty and Halo, right? At the time. But Call of Duty pretty much dominated the industry at the time when it came to gaming and FPS. So much so to the point that in 2010, no matter what game dropped, if it didn't have the similar things to a Call of Duty or a Modern Warfare, whatever game you drop, if it didn't feel like or play like Modern Warfare, nobody really played it, or nobody really gave those games a chance. Like if you look at Crisis, if you look at even Alien versus Predator, Alien versus Predator was a great game when it came to the multiplayer and the campaign. But because it didn't feel like you were playing a Call of Duty or Modern Warfare, people just was not a fan of it. But the contender to it was Battlefield. Bad Company. When Bad Company dropped, it was something different. And then when Battlefield 3 dropped, it was just giving Call of Duty the run for the money. And then Battlefield 4 dropped. Now with Battlefield 4 dropped, right, it had issues on launch, but it wasn't like a live service type of issues. There were just issues, but eventually DICE and EA, they got it together, they fixed the game. Ultimately, it was a great game by the end of this gaming cycle, this game life cycle. But I'm disgusted because I know what Battlefield feels like, right? And I'm not saying now. A lot of people are going to say, "Well, you like the part about Battlefield where because it's open, big warfare fields, big time battlefields, big old warplane, flying helicopters, running your ass across the map, and you have to have the stamina like Usain Bolt to get across the map." But no, I like close quarter battles. I like close quarter engagements in Battlefield, right? That's one of the things I can't take away from Call of Duty because there was elements of that in there. Right? Like you play Call of Duty when you want to go in there and just play, right? But there were a lot of elements of Call of Duty, like the camping, not being able to destroy buildings, people just setting up their tents. But when it came to Battlefield, if you tried to camp somewhere, I could just destroy the building. You understand? Or I can, lob bombs in the building and take down the building, which was something we enjoyed in Battlefield 3, especially Bad Company, because I think Bad Company had operating off of the Frostbite engine, had a lot of revolution in there, had a lot of destructibility in there. And then it transferred it over to Battlefield 3 and then Battlefield 4. I remember Battlefield 4, you were able to you were able to destroy that big Shanghai building, and it was amazing. Right? So I love close quarters battles. I love that's my thing, right? But I don't like when Battlefield's close quarters engagement feels much like Call of Duty's close quarters engagement. Like with Call of Duty, depend upon I want to say how do I describe the difference between the two, right? Because in Call of Duty, in close quarters engagement, it's like fast pace, like quick twitch reflex, quick reflexes, like bam, 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 bam. And it's very fast. Like you gotta adjust your eyes and your brain to the speed of Call of Duty. And I have ADHD, so that can be very taxing on me, right? As opposed to Battlefield 6, it's like You need a fast twitch in Battlefield 6, but it's not like Call of Duty. It's not like Call of Duty where even though you pop up first, the other person can beat you because they have a rapid fire gun, which is something that Battlefield 6 and Battlefield 2042 mimicked, right? Or like it's hard to describe. Somebody would have to describe it or articulate it better than me in the comment section. But there was a difference, right? Like if you play Battlefield 5 and if you play Battlefield 1, and then if you play Battlefield 3 and you play Battlefield 4, even Bad Company and even Battlefield, what was that Cops and Robbers Battlefield? Battlefield Hardline, right? Battlefield Hardline. Look at that game. And you can't say that Battlefield Hardline was like Call of Duty. You can't. No, it was based on urban warfare, right? So, um, you know, I'm disgusted with Battlefield 6. As a matter of fact, I did not buy Battlefield on its first couple of weeks of launch, or I want to say a couple of weeks or a month or two of launch, right? I because I knew what was going to happen. I just knew EA and Dice was going to repeat the mistake, right? I said EA and Dice, they're going to take Battlefield 2042 and they're going to dress it up as if they're going back to the roots of Battlefield 4 and 3. And they're going to advertise us with this Levolution shit. And then the players are going to come back. Battlefield player base is going to come back. The Call of Duty refugees are going to come back and they're going to play the game. And after a while, they're going to notice, oh shit, this is just like Call of Duty. Or this is just like 2042. And Battlefield or EA and Dice really don't give a shit about what their identity is because they're trying to mimic Call of Duty's identity. That's why it's funny to me when Battlefield came out and was like, yo, we're not worried about Call of Duty. Be better than Call of Duty. They're trying to say that they're going to beat them, but you mimic them to beat them. You didn't stand on what your identity was as Battlefield, EA and Dice. And I'm disgusted with EA and Dice for that. This is probably why a lot of EA and Dice employees that was with you left because they saw the direction y'all were going. You understand? So I'm gonna set these industry standards right here. We gotta set these industry standards because I am getting like this shit is goofy. Gaming standards. So this gaming standards are for every game that drops this year, today, right now, at this very moment, second, minute in time, or whenever I release this video, which is going to probably be tomorrow, right? These are the gaming standards. I judge Battlefield the same way dancehall judges a clash. So in dancehall, in Jamaican culture, have something called dancehall. In dancehall, you have something called clash, right? It's very similar to hip hop clashing or verses. In dancehall, in a clash, it's not about excuses, budget, or potential. It's about results, timing, and audience reaction. So a dancehall clash, right? I don't care how the two bad artists is. I don't care how many good tune Badman songs they make, right? For example, Massacre versus Alkaline, right? Two bad artists. But Massacre, when he was versing Tommy Lee, Massacre lost, right? Because he did not know how to craft up his songs and gear them toward a clash of verses. He knew how to make Badman tune and he knew how to make, general Badman tune. He know how to make. He know how to make. He's a good artist, bad artist. But when it came to clashing, he didn't know what he was doing, right? So how this applies to gaming? It's not about excuses. It's not about a gaming's big budget. It's not about the game's potential. It's about results, timing, and audience reaction. If people say it's weak, boring, or dead, the war's over. So that happens in dancehall. If the majority of the dancehall algorithm or audience say the clash is weak or boring or nobody's paying attention to it, nobody's vlogging about it, the war's over, right? If you drop a trash diss or a goose egg, as it's called, you're already behind. So that means if you drop so how does that apply to gaming? If you drop on release a trash game, the game is automatically dead, or you're on life support, right? And if you keep dropping goose eggs, you lose the clash. Gaming works the same way. Battlefield 6 doesn't get infinite chances. DICE and EA don't get to hide behind patches, roadmaps, promises. They get judged on release quality, updates, competition, and time, right? Because in the gaming industry, that's what often happens. Like in dancehall, often you think that the artist that you see before you is a bad artist or he's the best artist. And then when you put him in a clash against a next artist, come to find out the artist is weak. Right. Same thing with gaming. They give you a roadmap. They give you, pre-order release content. They give you all the workings like how DICE and EA advertised Battlefield 6. And then it released. Sales ramped up the first release, and as time went on, and everybody played, and guys like me who saw what was happening, and then everybody else who said, "Oh shit! Now that I played this long enough, this is not what was advertised." Dancehall clash rules apply to gaming. Rule 1: the people decide. In a dancehall clash, once the crowd says the war is boring or weak, the clash ends. Gaming equivalent. If the majority of players stop caring, stop logging in, or stop talking about the game is dead, regardless of the sales or PR. Engagement equal life, silence equal dead. And right now, Battlefield 6 is dying because the engagement has flopped, it's tanked. So in season 2, when they drop that update for season 2, I am going to judge season 2 too. And I'm going to say, use this. Rule 2, goose eggs matter. In dancehall, goose egg means the song was trash. Gaming equivalent, a bad update equals a goose egg. A broken patch equals a goose egg. An update that makes the game worse equals a goose egg. So if season 2 drops and the update is bad, any broken patch, it makes the game worse, goose egg. And all 3 of these can equal that the game dies. 1 goose egg is survivable. 2 or 3 goose eggs, you're losing the war. Response window. In dancehall, even a bad diss can survive if the opponent doesn't respond within 10 days. So what does that mean, right? It recently just happened. Massacre dropped a bad song called Death Row and System. 2 bad songs, right? And then his opponent, Tommy Lee, dropped 2 goose eggs. But Tommy Lee won. You know why? Because Massacre had 10 days to respond to Tommy Lee's trash song. And guess what Massacre did? He didn't respond. So guess what? By default, who won? Tommy Lee won the war with the goose egg song that made him drop. Anyway, gaming equivalent. If Battlefield launch is weak or broken, DICE and EA have 5 to 6 months max to fix the game, improve it, make it objectively great. If they fail to respond with phenomenal updates, the loss is automatic. So, DICE and EA, you have 6 months, right? I'm going to judge your next update, which would be season 2. Right? Release quality determines your time limit. Scenario A, phenomenal release. If Battlefield 6 release is great, you now set a high standard, which is probably why they're releasing their game trash. Because if they release their game trash, the bar is not set so high. So then they got time to say, okay, we made some mistakes, and they can release a couple trash updates because the standard's already in hell. But if they release an actual great game, their standard is now set high. So every update they release has to improve and maintain that greatness of that release. Now, here is the caveat to this. If they release a great game, and if they make an update and it breaks the game, what does that say about the core of the game? What does that say of the quality of the game? What does that say how they care about the game? Right? Now, if the update breaks the game and then drop another update to fix the game is back in the game. It's back in the game, right? If the update makes the game worse, instant death. So if you make one update to break the game, and then the two next updates you break, instant dead. We're not waiting 6 months to pronounce the game dead. A great release followed by decline equal worse than a bad launch. Sick of this crap. Scenario B, trash or broken release. Because remember, we're paying. Let me put my face in this motherfucker. Hold on. Remember, we're paying 60 to 70 to $80 a game. You know what I'm telling you? So I want my damn money's worth. See, if you're gonna keep releasing trash, we're not gonna keep buying these games, bro. Battlefield plays enough. Buy Battlefield, especially myself, to play damn flipping Call of Duty. If I wanted to play Call of Duty, I would have played Call of Duty on the Game Pass and not have to buy Battlefield 6. You have 5 to 6 months max. Updates must not just fix bugs. They must make the game great. 3-week updates equals automatic loss. You don't wait for excuses. Competition rule. This is critical. In gaming, timing matters. Battlefield 6 does not, this is what I meant by timing, right? Battlefield 6 does not exist in a vacuum. If a game like GTA 6 drops and Battlefield is mid or broken or still get in there or relying on future patches, the Battlefield loses by default. Because remember, the reason why they didn't release Battlefield 6, I think in March or spring, is because of GTA 6 is supposed to drop around that time. Right now, it'd be different if Battlefield was making great progress. They released a phenomenal game. Then update after update, they was just getting plays. The game was just awesome. It was amazing. Then it wouldn't matter by the time GTA 6 drops because Battlefield by that time, Battlefield would be peak apex. It would actually contain the GTA 6. You didn't know what to play when GTA 6 dropped. You'd have been like, damn, GTA 6 drops, but Battlefield is just smacking. I don't want to leave Battlefield 6 to go play GTA 6. Man, I can't decide. But I don't see that happening with Battlefield 6. Then Battlefield loses by default. Players move on, attention moves on, money moves on. There's no mercy window when a judgment drops. And really and truly, that's not my personal opinion. That happens in the gaming industry. I've watched that happen to plenty of games. Call of Duty was doing that to plenty of games. When Call of Duty was released, there were a lot of games that, you know what I'm saying, that nobody paid attention to, nobody played, nobody picked up because everybody was playing COD. Remember the time of the shit bucket? People would just be in a shit bucket for days on end, for nights. You see what I'm saying? So timing matters because now when you have a release window and you release a game and it's mid to trash to mid, and then another game drops and like on the level of GTA 6 with its reputation and its juice, right? If your game was not great by the time GTA 6 or whatever game coming out, your game can die and nobody will remember you. You will not be remembered. You will be or you'll be remembered as a broken game. EA and Dice will be remembered as you didn't do or give the people or your core fans what they wanted. You understand what I'm saying? Look at Warhammer Space Marines 2, right? When Space Marines 2 launched, it was great, and then they dropped a couple patches that killed the experience for the game. Then who was it? Saber Interactive, I believe it is. Hold on, let me look it up. Saber Interactive. Yeah, Saber Interactive, right? Saber Interactive said, oh shit. And they dropped patches that fixed the game. They fixed the quality of life of the game. And they didn't wait, right? I think Space Marines launched in September, right? And when they dropped a couple of those bad patches, by the time we got to, I want to say around, when did Space Marine 2 was launched? When did it launch? I forget the dates. I don't remember if it was like September. No, hold on. Let me see when it launched. When it Space Marines 2. Damn, time for it came out in September 5th, 2024. My bad. Yo, time is fucking flying. But I remember they had dropped a couple bad patches. And then by the time December came around, they fixed themselves. You understand? So Saber Interactive, shout out to that gaming company or that studio, they fixed their game and the game got back on track. And people still play the game. I still play Warhammer, right? It's that I have ADHD, so like I can't play a game for too long before me getting bored. And by the way, if a gaming studio can get a game that's impressive to somebody with ADHD, and you can captivate an ADHD brain, keep him playing the game for a long time, you're doing something right. All right. Now I'm not saying you must center it around your game around somebody with ADHD, but I'm just saying, understand that, right? But right, Battlefield 6, I don't see Battlefield 6 fixing themselves. Or if they do fix themselves, by the time they fix themselves, it's gonna be mid. And it's gonna be a bigger game or competition that's going to snuff them out. Because, like I said, when AVP dropped in 2010, it was AVP, and I think it was Cryo, Crisis or what was it? Crisis, Crisis 3, Crisis 3 released in 2013. So Crisis 3 was a phenomenal game. I love playing that game because it was something different from Call of Duty, right? But there were a lot of games, and because of Crisis 3 reputation and it being a great game, it survived that. Battlefield survived that. AVP not so much, right? So there was a lot of games that came out that because of COD, and I ain't gonna take that from COD. COD knew what they were doing. They were sticking to their audience. They were sticking to their formula. It's just that right about now, it's kind of getting died out. Like everybody's looking for something different. Right. There's even games like Insurgency. I forgot what the hell that shit. Let me look at my Xbox right quick. Hold on. Come on, Xbox. There's a couple FPSs. I don't remember when 2042 there was a game everybody else was playing. Let me see. Like I wish Anthem they really would have played. So yeah, it was Anthem. No, 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 no. Let me explain what the games were. Anthem, but then Anthem failed. Anthem died. Right. And that wasn't really because of EA. That was really because of the people EA put in charge to make the game, not meeting certain deadlines. Um, oh my goodness. Gears of War definitely survived. Right. Gears of War had its own motherfucking foot in the door. Right. Gears of War was the shit. Um, but there was a couple games that didn't survive around that arc or timeline. Um, as far as the FPSs are concerned. Oh man. Let me go to the store. Or to the store. By the way, my pre-recordings are going to be raw like this for a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna end up fixing it up and crafting it up for it to look the best and peak. But for right now, it's gonna be like this. Shooters. What came out around 2042? Um, hmm. Shit. Rainbow Six. I give Rainbow Six their props, right? Right. Rainbow Six Battlefront. The Battlefront, I classify that as EA. But when Battlefield 2042 came out and it was failing, people went back to playing Battlefront. And then you had Gears of War 5, but there was a lot of issues with Gears of War 5. I have people that I play with that are big fans of Battle of Gears of War 5. Um, there are plenty of games that survive, like Mass Effect, but I wouldn't classify Mass Effect as like an FPS, speaking specifically to FPSs. Oh man, there was a game. I can't find it right now, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. But you get what I'm saying. You understand? So again, I will use Alien versus Predator as an example. I remember going into those lobbies and people complaining like, "Yo, this is not like Call of Duty, but this is a monster game. It's not supposed to play like Call of Duty." And people just did not like. They just did. They were just not feeling. They were just not feeling it. So I'm saying, so that a lot of this stuff matters, right? And in my opinion, when GTA 6 drops, I'm going to be playing GTA 6 and streaming that. I don't know about any other game besides GTA 6. I might come back to Battlefield. Objective thesis, right? My official judging standard. Battlefield 6 will be judged the same way I judge a Dancehall Clash is judged. By the people, by the quality of the release, by the response time, and by competition, not by promises. DICE and EA have one launch, limited updates, and shrinking attention window. If Battlefield 6 releases weak, drops multiple goose egg updates, loses player interest, or gets overshadowed by better games, then I will pronounce the franchise dead officially. Why I'm doing this isn't hate. This isn't nostalgia. This isn't pressure. This is my fault. This isn't hate. This isn't nostalgia. This is pressure. Studios only move when standards are public, judgment is clear, time limits exist. This is how you force greatness, just like dancehall. Now, I don't care how much game sells on day one. I don't care. And this is what I mean. Battlefield 6 proved why. Yes, Battlefield 6 launched strong. Yes, it pulled in a massive player base. Yes, a lot of people were starving for Battlefield to return to form because that's exactly how it was advertised and sold. But sales don't equal legitimacy. What matters is what people discover after they keep playing. And as weeks and months went on, players started noticing the truth, the bugs, the design choices, the identity confusion. Battlefield 6 wasn't Battlefield going back to form. It was Battlefield 2042 dressed up as Battlefield 4 nostalgia. The core betrayal, identity fraud. Battlefield 6 was not advertised as Call of Duty style of game, a Warzone-inspired experience, a fast-twitch arcade shooter. It was advertised as Battlefield returning to its roots, large-scale warfare, Battlefield identity restored. But once people actually played the mask came off. Modes like Red Sex. No, I love Gauntlet. Gauntlet, I can rock with Gauntlet, right? But Red Sec, when you make it just like Warzone, didn't feel like Battlefield. They felt like, look at Warzone versus Fortnite. You understand what I'm saying? Fortnite has its own identity. Same kind of I want to say formula, but they have a different identity. Understand? And I get it, Fortnite is more of a third-person shooter, cartoonish style shooter, and Warzone is more of like an arcade warfare type shooter. But why couldn't Battlefield 6 go back to its roots as a warfare simulator shooter and bring that identity into if they wanted to do something similar to Warzone to captivate that audience? Right? They felt like a Warzone clone inside Battlefield clothing. That's not evolution. That's plagiarism mixed with insecurity. And I feel like it's insecurity, in my opinion. Why say sales don't save you? Here's the part people get wrong. A game can sell well because of hope, not quality. Battlefield 6 sold because core Battlefield players were desperate. Marketing promised a return to form. Call of Duty fatigue was real. But once the honeymoon phase ended, reality kicked in. And when player counts start dropping, complaints become consistent. Complaints become consistent. The same issues don't get fixed. The identity doesn't match the promise. The game is dead, no matter how strong the launch was. From a Battlefield OG perspective, right? Like I said earlier, I saw this shit early because I played from Bad Company 1 and 2 all the way up to 5. You know what I'm saying? So I know what Battlefield feels like. And I played Call of Duty too. I've played Gears of War. So I'm an OG into gaming, especially when it comes to Battlefield, because I'm a Battlefield OG. So I know what the differences feel like. I might not be able to describe it or articulate it right now, but I know the difference. And many of you do too, right? So when Battlefield 6 launched, I could immediately tell. This wasn't confidence, it's Battlefield's this was a confidence in Battlefield's identity. This was fear of Call of Duty. This was mimicry, not mastery. And Battlefield 2042 already showed that pattern, copying Call of Duty instead of fixing Battlefield. Right? Structured judgment. Rules apply clearly. Rule 1. Sales don't equal victory. High launch sales do not mean the game won. Victory is sustained player engagement, identity consistency, updates that improve core experience. My fault. I gotta read this through the StreamYard. Declining player base equal loss. If the majority of players slowly leave, the core audience checks out, the community agrees, the game isn't what it was promised, the game loses by default. Identity fraud is an auto loss. If you advertise one identity, deliver a different one, mimic another franchise, and hide behind branding, that's not a misstep, that's deception. And deception kills trust permanently. My thesis, my official position, right? Battlefield 6 failed not because it lacked sales, but because it lacked identity. It wasn't confident enough to be Battlefield. So it copied Call of Duty while pretending to be Battlefield 4. When a studio lies about what it's selling, borrows another game's identity, fails to fix its own foundation, and watches its player base decline, the judgment, or my judgment, is final. Now, step your damn game up in gaming. EA and DICE, step your game up, and the rest of you gaming companies, I'm gonna be on that ass. Sick of this. I'm not. 2026. No more paying for $80 to $60, $60 to $80 games, and possibly $90 games. And when the new Xbox drops, it's probably gonna be $1,000 plus or some change. We're not gonna keep doing this shit. Anyway, Kish Yardy Gaming Network. Drop a like, drop a subscribe, share the motherfucking video. I'm out.